dehumanizing the machine. This is about your ancestor.
One of these 10 names traces back to the most powerful military machine the world had ever seen, the legions of Rome. If your last name is Italian, there's a real chance you're connected to centurions, emperors, or the soldiers who built an empire that lasted 1,000 years. Stick around, yours might be on this list. Long before Italy was a single nation, it was the heart of the Roman Empire, a sprawling dominion ruled by emperors, generals, and the legions that enforced their will across 3 continents. Every Roman soldier, from the lowliest legionary to the most powerful imperator, carried a name that meant something. When record began, they weren't just writing down names. They were writing down rank, lineage, and military legacy that in some cases stretched back over 2,000 years. Today, millions of people carry one of these names without knowing what it meant, which legion their ancestors served in, which emperor they fought under, or which battle their name was born from. We've pulled 10 of the most significant Italian surnames still carried today that trace directly back to Rome's military might. If your name is one of these, you know exactly where your bloodline came from. If your last name is Centurion, your ancestor commanded 100 men in the Roman legions. The name comes from the Latin centurio, meaning commander of a century being 100 legionaries, and it was one of the most respected ranks in the entire Roman army. This family held territory in Liguria, ruling from the northwestern coast of Italy, and their power came from military authority. Centurions were the backbone of the legions, the professional officers who kept Rome's armies disciplined and deadly. A centurion was identifiable by his transverse crest helmet, his vine staff, the vitis, which he used to discipline his men, and the fact that he stood in the front rank of battle. They were the most experienced, most decorated soldiers in the legion, and they earned 10 times a standard legionary's pay. But commanding 100 men was one thing. Commanding an entire army was something else entirely, as the next name reveals. If your last name is Imperatori, your ancestor held the highest military title in the Roman world. The name comes from the Latin imperator, meaning commander or emperor, a title first given to victorious generals by their troops, and later the official title of Rome's emperors. This family's power came from supreme military authority. The imperator commanded the entire Roman army, controlled the empire's vast territories, and was hailed by his soldiers after major victories. The title imperator was originally an acclamation. When a general won a major battle, his soldiers would shout imperator in recognition. Augustus, the first Roman emperor, took it as a permanent title, and for 5 centuries, every Roman emperor after him held this name as the ultimate symbol of military power. But not every Roman warrior carried a Latin title. Some carry the name of an elite unit that history nearly forgot. If your last name is Sigli, your ancestor was part of an elite Roman legion that history has almost forgotten. The name comes from the Latin signum, meaning sign or signal, and the people of Piedmont were once known as the Sigliati, connected to a Roman legion of the same name. This family held territory in Piedmont, in northwestern Italy, ruling from the Alpine foothills, and their power came from being part of an elite and honorable unit of Roman warriors. The Legion of the Sigliati was known as one of the most elite units in the Roman army, a brotherhood of warriors who carried the standard, the signum, into battle. By the late 13th century, the Sigli family had become one of the oldest noble families in Piedmont, serving as counselors, governors, and warrior knights for the Savoy dynasty. But some surnames don't just come from Roman soldiers, they come from Roman emperors themselves. If your last name is Caesario, your ancestor carried the name of Rome's most famous dynasty. The name comes from the Latin Caesarius, the title given to Roman emperors, and is most closely associated with Gaius Julius Caesar himself. This family's power came from direct association with the imperial line. The name Caesar was adopted by every Roman emperor for over 4 centuries, from Augustus to the fall of the Western Empire. Julius Caesar wasn't an emperor. He was a general who conquered Gaul, crossed the Rubicon, and changed Rome forever. But his name became so powerful that it was used by every subsequent Roman ruler. The name itself may come from Caesum, meaning cut, a reference to Caesar's military campaigns in which he cut through vast swathes of his enemies. But some Roman names don't come from emperors. They come from one of Rome's most powerful families of warriors. If your last name is Phoebe, your ancestor belonged to one of the most legendary military families in Roman history. The name comes from the Latin Fabius, the name of the gens Fabia, one of Rome's most ancient patrician families, and it may derive from faba, meaning bean, suggesting agricultural roots that grew into military greatness. This family held immense political and military power in ancient Rome, producing consuls, generals, and senators who shaped the republic and empire. The most famous of the Fabii was Quintus Fabius Maximus, known as Cunctator, the Delayer, who saved Rome from Hannibal during the Second Punic War by refusing to fight a direct battle, instead wearing down the Carthaginian army through guerrilla tactics. His strategy was so effective that it became the model for avoiding defeat against a superior enemy. But the rank of centurion was so important that it gave rise to not one, but two Italian surnames still carried today. If your last name is Centurino, like Centurion, your ancestor was a centurion, but with a different regional story. The name comes from the Latin centurio, meaning centurion, a commander of 100 legionaries, and it emerged in medieval Italy, particularly in Tuscany and Lazio. This family held territory in central Italy, ruling from regions like Tuscany and Lazio, and their power came from military leadership. Centurions were professional officers who formed the backbone of the Roman legions. Centurions were the most experienced soldiers in the legion. They had to be at least 30 years old, had served for decades, and had proven themselves in countless battles. They were the ones who actually led the men into combat, standing in the front rank with their vine staff, setting the example of courage that every legionary followed. Some families, however, traced their lineage not to military rank, but to a legendary general whose tactics saved Rome itself. If your last name is Massimo, your ancestor may be directly descended from a man who saved Rome from Hannibal. The name comes from the Latin Maximus, meaning greatest, and the Massimo family claims descent from the Maximi branch of the ancient gens Fabia. This family is one of the great aristocratic families of Rome, part of the papal nobility since the 16th century, and their legendary ancestry goes back to Quintus Fabius Maximus Verrucus, called Cunctator, the Delayer. When Napoleon asked the Prince Massimo whether the family truly descended from Fabius Maximus, the prince famously replied, "I cannot prove it. It's a rumor that's only been going around for 1200 years." The family motto is Cunctando Restituit. By delaying, he restored, the very strategy that saved Rome. But not every Roman surname comes from a specific general. Some simply declare your origin as a Roman citizen. If your last name is Romani, your ancestor was simply and proudly a Roman. The name comes from the Latin Romanus, meaning of Rome or from Rome, and it was used to identify citizens of the Eternal City and the empire that bore its name. This family is pan-Italian, found in every region of the peninsula, and is one of the most common Italian surnames, a testament to how deeply Roman identity is woven into the Italian people. The name Romanus was first used in the early medieval period, but its roots go back to the very founding of Rome. In the Roman Empire, to be called Romanus was to claim citizenship in the greatest civilization the world had ever known, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities that came with it. But the name of Caesar didn't just survive in one form. It survived in many, each carrying the same imperial weight. If your last name is Asari, your ancestor carried a name that became synonymous with imperial power. The name comes from the Roman cognomen Caesar, the title applied to Julius Caesar and every subsequent Roman emperor for over 400 years. This family has ancient roots connecting directly to the imperial title. Caesar was a name that defined Roman authority from a republic through the empire and into the Byzantine era. The etymology of Caesar is debated. Some say it comes from Caesares, meaning hair, referring to a full head of hair. Others from Caesum, meaning cut, referring to a Caesarean birth. But regardless of its origin, the name became so powerful that in many languages, Caesar became the word for emperor itself, from the German Kaiser to the Russian Tsar. Our final name connects you not just to a Roman general, but to a family that produced some of Rome's greatest warriors. If your last name is Marcello, your ancestor belonged to one of Rome's most distinguished military families, the gens Claudia. The name comes from the Roman cognomen Marcellus, a diminutive of Marcus, which itself derives from Mars, the Roman god of war. The Marcello family claims ancient Roman origins, with the name Marcellus being typical of the gens Claudia, one of the most powerful patrician families in Roman history. The most famous bearer of this name in antiquity was Gaius Claudius Marcellus, a Roman general who played a crucial role in the Second Punic War against Hannibal. The name Marcellus literally means sacred to Mars, a name that announced to the world that its bearer was a warrior by birth and by destiny. 10 names, 10 bloodlines, each one a thread in the tapestry of Rome's military might. 10 names, 10 bloodlines, 10 families that shaped Rome's military history long before Italy was a single nation. From Centurione and Imperatore to Romani and Marcello, these surnames were never just labels. They were rank, territory, alliance, and survival passed down through 2,000 years of history. If your name showed up today, or even if it didn't, drop it in the comments and I'll tell you what I find. And if you want the next 10 names uncovered, hit subscribe.